Hello everyone. So today's HCI class, in place of blockchain class, we are conducting HCI due to some reason. Okay. So let's start without wasting further any time. Most of the students who are regular have already joined. So I would like to start it right away. Okay. So we were discussing about conceptual model. Okay. So what is conceptual model? You have understood how to conceptualize a model. We will see in today's class. So the formulation of conceptual model needs to take care of certain things. What are these things? First is what will be the user be doing when carrying out their task. So like we are talking about any interface or any conversation device which is connecting human and the computer, right? So user may be like we have taken an example of driving a car while watching movie on small screen kept in the nowadays modern cars. So with every device or any interface device, we need to find out what will be the condition of the user. It means other than using that device, what other task the user may be doing. Okay. Like if you think about specific or specialized designs like interfaces in industrial units, okay, over there the concentration of the user is appropriately and very dedicatedly towards a system only, because they know the consequences of error, right? But there are certain entertainment interface over there, the user may be distracted, or he may not be putting lots of concentration on the interface device. Okay. So this is the thing which we need to actually find out and prepare a ground about it, that what will be the user's condition, what will be his attention span or attention uh, I mean to say how attentive he will be while using this device. Okay. Second point is how will be the system support this. It means how users surrounding you are going to incorporate in your system. Okay. So the interface should be designed in such a way that with respect to different user conditions, your system should be robust enough. Okay. Next point is what kind of interface metaphor, if any, will be appropriate. Fine. And the last point is what kind of interaction mode and style to use, like graphical user interaction you want to use, or some kind of linguistic interaction you want to use, where linguistic interaction means where user need to read instruction and then follow it. Okay. So there are very different way of interaction mechanisms, which we will be seeing later on. So so what kind of interaction mode the user will be using with respect to specific interface. Okay. The important point is that you have to always keep in mind when making design decision how the user will understand an underlying concept model. Okay. So always you have to keep it in mind. I am repeatedly emphasizing on this thing, that how user is going to respond to it. What does it mean? It means there are many different users, isn't it? So everyone is having different concentration span. Everyone is having different understanding. Um, everyone is having a different level of education background. So we have to take care of these things so that you can make a robust and a system which is accepted universally. Okay, so we can actually okay, now we will discuss about interaction types. Okay, so as I was telling you that the interaction could be of many types. So basically, we can divide interaction types into four categories. Okay, in general, first is called instructing type, where we are using commands and selection options. Okay. So the command is popping up, you click on something, the command is popped up, and then you have to select one option kind of thing. Then second is conversing kind of interaction. So in this kind of interaction, interacting with system as if having a conversation. Okay. Then next is manipulating type. In this kind of interaction, interacting with object in a virtual or physical space by manipulating them. Next is exploring type. It means moving through a virtual environment or a physical space. Okay. So these are the basic four major type of interaction. So let's talk about instructing type. So, what is instructing type? Where users interact a system and tell it what to do. It means tell the time, print a file, save a file, kind of thing. Second point about this instructing type is it is very common conceptual model. We have used it many times, isn't it? It is very common and underlying a diversity of devices and system. And these kind of you have used it. That's what I'm saying. That you have used it in many applications already. Okay, like word processors, VCRs, vending machines, isn't it? And what is the main benefit of instruction type? It supports quick and efficient instruction. So basically, we are actually choosing some instruction, we are clicking on it, and the task is done. So it is easy for everyone and it is quick also. That's why instructing type is the most used type of instruction in today's time. Okay. And it is good for repetitive kind of action performed on multiple objects. So, like, see, which vending machine do you think is better, easiest? You have to tell me in chat box. Left side or right side? Be quick. Right. Path, very good. But why? Why right is better? Proper display of the product. Okay. In general, which one we are using nowadays? We are using various vending machines at airports or malls, right? Ashish, I want you to answer this. Why right side is good? Nimit, right one, right? I asked Ashish whether he is actually attending or just logged in.
No, ma'am, no, 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 ma'am, my display is already gone out, ma'am.
Okay, okay.
तो अभी वो दिख नहीं रहा कुछ, मैं बस सिर्फ अटेंड कर रहा हूँ, मैं डिस्प्ले गई है, मैं कल पूरी टूट गई है, ब्रेक हो गई है.
Hmm. Okay. Various product in one machine. Right, various products in one machine, but that is one thing. But what about instruction mechanism over here? Okay. Another example which I've taken from the book itself. Um, there are online sales agent. Okay. Um, it was designed by the um, for US and UK based customers. What are the differences and which is one? Matlab you can see online help sales agent is there. They have both. It is designed by in the single company, but the Anna is looking different in both the screens. Okay. Uh, why the Anna's appearance is different in other countries? Like when they provided this service, they have made it sure uh, to change their look. Okay. So right now there is an example of US and UK. If it is South Korea or China or India, um, they may be change their look. Actually, they have changed their look. Why? So that the user or the customer of that particular region, along with the language, of course, uh, they can correlate themselves. Okay, and when they chat with the this is online sales agent, they should feel that regional kind of things. Okay. Now we will discuss about pros and cons of conversational model. So this kind of sales agents, online sales agent, provide us conversational model of finding out interaction. Okay, so conversating with some sales agent online or this kind of system, they have certain uh, pros and cons. Like it allow user, especially noise and technophobes, to interact with the system in a way that is familiar. So that is the advantage. Okay. The users may be following instruction model for our users who are very novice with respect to technology and all. So for them, this kind of conversational system, step by step conversation, they may find it better. Okay, because they feel that they are conversating, so that is the familiar way of doing any task. Okay. It makes them feel comfortable, at ease, and less scared. But there is one disadvantage of conversational model. What is that disadvantage? Misunderstanding can raise when the system does not know how to parse what the user says. Okay. Um, Maybe many of us have found it. Actually, recently I was um, looking for an online solution for one product, and there was obviously there was I was using this conversational model online, and I was raising queries, and the system was not able to actually respond to it properly, and I had to rephrase the sentence so that the system could get the exact requirement of mine. Okay, so this was the problem, which I generally don't find conversational model very convenient in sometimes, in some cases. Okay, so particularly with that particular product and that particular site, I found that conversational model really uncomfortable. So these are the things, right? So sometimes they are this conversational model is very good, but sometimes this is actually create many misunderstandings. You have to rephrase your requirements. There are certain words on the terms which you are, I mean, you're the problem you are defining in the your own words, but the system may not understand or correlate with this problem. They may be using some other terminology for the same problem, right? So these kind of there are these kind of problem in conversational model. Now, what is manipulating? Manipulating model. Let's discuss it. Then we will discuss about example. Manipulating model involves dragging, selecting, opening, closing, zooming action on virtual object. Okay. So, any example of manipulating model? Uh, can you correlate with anything which you can say that yes, this is the manipulating model we have used ever? You have used various websites for shopping, for gaming, isn't it? So, can you suggest or can you recall any manipulating model in terms of website? Let's think about in terms of website. Anyone? Okay. So what are the points about manipulating model? That it exploits users' knowledge of how they move and manipulate in the physical world. Okay. And it can involve actions using physical controls or air gasher. Like, do you know about Kinect to control the movement of an screen avatar? Kinect models. Do you know about Kinect models? Anyone? What is Kinect? It's it's very famous device. Kinect is a well-known motion sensing device. Okay, it was produced by the Microsoft in 2010. Do you ever heard about it? No, you have not heard about it. It's an interesting device. Actually, we were discussing about various kind of inputs, right? Various kind of input sensors. So Kinect is a motion sensor device which was introduced by the Microsoft company in the year of 2010. Okay. This is a small hardware unit and it incorporates all the color inputs. It is having a camera, that is RGB camera, and it is having a projection interface unit. Okay. So basically, Kinect was designed for the it was introduced as a game controller. Okay. Um, and afterwards, it was developed and used for many kind of applications. So I want you to read about this. It is not only used for gaming, it was used for so many things in non-gaming kind of applications. Later on, when the gaming Kinect was got very good response from the users, they have made a non-gaming application of Kinect, and even Kinect devices are now being used for Kinect-built devices are used for smart cars. Okay. Once I was given a, I was preparing a collaborative work with the South Korean researcher. So over there, when we were supposed to get connected for the work, that is smart car or motion sensor cars. Okay, so over there, they were developing Kinect kind of similar device, and we were given the work of image processing task, and it was government approved or government Indian government and collaboration of Indian government and Korean government. So over there they were developing similar kind of device which can be used for the motion sensing. It means for getting input for the smart cars. Okay, so I want you to read about Connect. Okay, this is your homework. And in the next class, I'm going to ask questions and randomly I will ask anyone. Okay. So this is actually a very good thing to read about. It is very interesting and very informative kind of device. Okay. Then manipulating interface is like taking physical object that are manipulated in a physical world result in physical digital event, that is animation. So like Kinect sensor that senses the motion, this kind of inputs are taken as the instruction medium. Okay, gesture control, etc. So there are different kind of manipulation devices. One is called direct manipulation device. Schinderman in 1983 coined this term, uh, came from the his friction with computer game at that time in 1983. That is, he devised or he introduced this term direct manipulation. Okay. In direct manipulation, continuous representation of object and interaction actions are intersected. Okay, so the object and the action. So they in direct manipulation, there is a direct link between an object and the actions related with that objects. So that they define that, it means the designer have to define what will be the object and what will be the actions connected to it. Okay. Then now next is physical actions and buttons. Pressing instant of issuing command with the complex syntax. Then in direct manipulation, we have physical action like we were talking about Connect, and then there are button actions like after gesture, you have to press certain button instead of giving command, like in the touch screen kind of thing or any screen kind of thing. When we give instruction, like we connect a drop down menu, we click a drop down menu, we click another sub menu, and then we go to that particular page. So in place of that, they are providing direct buttons, and with respect to every action and the button are correlated. Okay. Then in direct manipulation, we also have rapid reversible action with immediate feedback on the object. Rapid reversible in the sense, if you click something and another thing popped up. Okay. If you click something and another thing popped up, and immediately you have to give instruction into them. So direct manipulative, whether it is enjoyable or not, and if it is enjoyable, why? So the novice can learn the basic functionality quickly because there is no drop down menus or there is no instruction to follow. There are icons to follow. Just click on the icon and do the action. Some pop, some another. If you click an icon, something popped up, and then you have to follow the next instruction. So this kind of thing is very easy for the persons who are not very familiar with the computer interfaces. Okay, so that's why this kind of interfaces were accepted or cherished by different level or different kind of users. The next point is the experience user. For experience user, if you think about experience users, can work extremely rapid to carry out the wide range of tasks, even defining new functions, obviously. So because the if the persons who are not very much competent in working in computer screens or interfaces, if they are finding it easy or comfortable in doing tasks, then the experts are doing their task more rapidly. They do it very quickly. So obviously, they also accepted DM interfaces, direct manipulative interfaces, open-heartedly. Then intermediate users can retain operational concept over time. Obviously, this is also but natural. Okay, in DMs, error message rarely needed. Why? Because simply we have to follow one after another instruction given by the system itself. So we don't have chances to um, do some mistakes, right? Because the instruction is given by the system. We don't have any other option other than the option given by the system itself. So error chances are very less, and we don't need to prepare for accidental error messages. Okay, as a designer, then users can immediately see if their actions are furthering their goal, and if not, do something else. Obviously, okay. So basically, this is good for all level of users, and for designers, they don't have to prepare the system for accidental error due to wrong instruction from the user. Now, definitely, if anything is having disadvantages, the same thing may have different certain kind of disadvantages too. So basically, in terms of designer, if you think, if you basically every designer try to make an interface compact. Okay, so you cannot enlist all the tasks, all the objectives. You cannot describe it, all the actions of the user. Okay, so sometimes this kind of interaction mode is not appropriate for the design, um, because there are number of screens, number of icons, number of buttons. So your screen may look very clumsy. For designer, it will become very difficult to give a clear look of the screen, as well as providing then direct manipulative buttons. So in some applications, we actually cannot follow this kind of direct manipulative. This is one of the disadvantage. If you are forced to give direct manipulative interface, at that time, definitely your screen appearance may affect badly. And moving mouse and the one, I mean, moving your mouse or the clicking on the screen but button, it is also making your system slower, especially for the experts or the medium level of users. Sometimes they find it less in they may find it less interesting in terms of speed also. Okay, because they have to move mouse from one point to another, one button to another kind of things. So these are some disadvantages, and that's why for heavy systems where we have multiple inputs, multiple instructions, multiple, if we want to give multiple option to the users, over there we cannot follow this kind of direct manipulative. Okay, Now, next is exploring type. So, what is exploring types? Uh, in exploring types, users it involves users moving through the virtual or physical environment. Okay, so basically, you are exploring something. So we are exploring in the virtual world, same as the physical world. Okay, the physical environment with embedded sensor technology. So basically, we are using sensor technologies to give a feel of physical environment to the user, right? We have seen many this kind of sensor technology enabled system in especially in gaming devices, gaming interface devices. So which conceptual model is best? So obviously, main point is nothing is best and nothing is worse. It depends upon application to application. Okay. So in general, every conceptual model is useful, but they have certain limitations and certain advantages. So we have to choose the interface model as per our application. What kind of device we are going to make, uh, what kind of interface accessibility we have, what is the screen size, and of course the user information. So there something I enlisted in choosing which kind of device manipulation or conceptual model is best. So direct manipulation is good for doing types of tasks like designing, drawing, driving, sizing windows, etc. Whereas issuing instruction is good for uh, repetitive tasks like spell checking, file management, etc. Having a conversation is a good for children, the computer phobic, disabled users, and specialized application like phone services, um, any kind of customer services kind of things. Over there, we need concept conversational model and the hybrid model. So hybrid, obviously, hybrid model are often employed where different types of models, which four type of models we carried out, we studied about, we can mix them together and make a hybrid model. Okay, for creating a robust interface which can support all variety of users, which can be used in number of instructions. Okay, which cannot actually which cannot take processing time, very prolonged processing time, very long processing time. Okay, so ultimately our goal is to give a clear instruction to the users, right? So you can create your own hybrid conception model, taking the combination of any of the four conception model. Okay, now we will talk about interaction and interface. Okay, in conceptual model, uh, what do you think about interaction and what are the interfaces? So interaction, what we have studied so far, there are four different way of interaction, like um, with the system, either instructing, talking, browsing, kind of interaction. So user is doing when interacting with the system. So anything what user is doing, whether user is giving some instruction, written instruction like search box, right? Search box is everywhere in every websites or different kind of interfaces. So this is one type of interaction. Then conversating, that is talking. We are talking with something or someone or the system. Now, like browsing something, right? So these are called interaction. Now, what are interfaces? The kind of interface used to support the mode. For example, speech interface, menu based interface, gesture based interface. So as I said that the Kinect devices are taking gesture as the input. Okay. Your Alexa is taking your speech as the input. Okay. And menu based input. So we are using everywhere and anywhere, right? So these are the interfaces by which we can interact with the system. There are many kind of interface available. Okay, you think about it. Here about very devices you are using in your institute or in your home, and in general you know about. Okay, so like command based interface we have, speech based interface we have, data entry type interface we have, form filling is kind of interface we have. Then we have query based interface. You generate a query and the system is giving you some response. Graphical interface we know very well. Then web based interfaces we have. Then pen based interface. It means stylus or pens we are using to interact with your system. Okay. Augmented reality and gesture based interface we have. So one example of gesture I have given you, Connect. And what do you mean about augmented reality? Augmented reality and gesture based. These 2 points I want to elaborate. So what is augmented based reality? Anyone? What is augmented reality? What do you think about it? AR. Look, these are the terms which you must be very comfortable with. Okay, you should know all these things. Snapchat filters, okay. Displaying virtual elements in reality, okay. And Pokemon Go, okay. So, so what do you think about augmented reality? Um, any application. So there are many kind of sensors we use for. Very good, very good. Google Measure, yes, correct, correct, correct. Very good. Good answer. So we know about augmented reality, isn't it? So anything? Uh, okay. So are you able to listen? Are you listening? Am I audible? Okay. Um, so these are the interfaces which actually we can use, we can incorporate in our devices. Okay. Now we will talk about paradigm. So how to use conceptual model, or how to use your conceptualizing your model is decided by the paradigm. Okay. So paradigm is inspiration for a conceptual model, that how we are going to design it, how we are going to use it. So the general approach adopted by the community for carrying out the research. So as you know that um, any subject, Not only I'm talking about computer science. Uh, for any subject, any kind of science, there are some paradigm designed. Paradigm means what? A shared assumptions, concept, values, and practices. So there are some fixed paradigm which is actually developed over time. We cannot say that the paradigm for particular task is defined at once. Actually, it's continuous development process. Okay, so same as for us, that computer science people, that paradigm for human computer interaction has been developed over the period of time, right? From the desktop interaction to the time where we are interacting and using this interface anywhere and everywhere. Okay, so paradigm are the concepts, are the values, are the assumptions, okay, which are defined in that particular study of work. Now, whenever a designer is actually trying, when a designer is actually designing something, he or she has to take care of the basic paradigm of that particular design, and afterwards we have to develop it further. Okay, so we will discuss about some of the examples of few new paradigms, like preserving computing. Few important points of paradigm, right? Like preserving computing, variable computing, tangible byte, augmented reality, attentive environments, transparent computing, ubiquitous computing, etc. These are the new paradigm or new systems. Okay. So now we will discuss about which interaction type to choose. So obviously, taking care of the paradigm, we need to focus on what kind of interaction type we need to choose. Okay, so we have studied various kind of interaction type. So before determining the what kind of interaction type we want to choose, you need to determine requirements and the user needs. Okay. So first thing is your requirements. What are the requirements of the system? What are the requirements of the users? How and for what kind of users? Okay. Then second thing, we have to take care about the budget and other constraint, like what kind of material we can use, what kind of processor we can use. So obviously, the this thing, like what kind of hardware you are going to use, is actually connected with both the things, your requirement conditions as well as your budget condition. So basically you have to make a balance between these two, okay, before choosing the interface type, because you cannot choose a, if you want to design a augmented reality kind of interface, you cannot go for certain hardwares, or if you want a gesture recognition kind of device, definitely you need a certain hardware. Okay, so at that time you need to take care of budget also. So what kind of interaction device you want to use, it depends upon your budget also. You cannot use gesture controlled input when you have low budget. Okay, so next point is it depends upon the suitability of the technology for the activity being supported. Obviously, there are certain things where we actually don't need very advanced version of inputs or certain kind of sensory inputs, like gesture control kind of input. Maybe we don't need everywhere fingerprint inputs. We don't need everywhere iris inputs. So it depends upon what kind of input or what kind of activity you want to do, and based on that you are going to choose your interaction type. Okay. Next point is okay, we will actually further discuss in detail designing conceptual model. Okay, next topic in the next topic. Designing conceptual model is our next topic. We will discuss this thing over there. Now we will talk about problem space analysis. So analysis of the problem space uh, is also very important term in human-computer interaction. So defining assumptions and claims. Problem space is what? Your requirement space. Okay. What I mean, what are the requirements your company or your user is expecting from you? It means from the designer. Okay. So problem space analysis contains assumptions and claims. Like these are the inputs, or these are you are given a task to design a suppose a computer screen or mobile phone screen. So you need you have certain assumptions that these will be the definite inputs they must be wanting you to keep. Um these must be the things which they want you to incorporate in the system. Okay, so first of all you have to define that, then you have to describe it. What you have to describe? What is the current user's behavior? It means if they have already certain device similar kind of they're using, then you have to find out that what is their behavior with that particular device, what they expect you to incorporate something new so that their experience get better. Okay, then what kind of problems they have faced and how you will be able to solve these problems. And you have to find out opportunities where actually you are improving other than their expectations. It means incorporating something new. So problem space analysis takes lots of effort, and actually analyzing problem space in a proper way is the key in interface designing or any kind of designing. Okay, defining the conceptual model of the future product using the interaction type. Like you also have to keep certain things, um, keeping in mind that in future if you want to improve it, you can do it from here. Okay, so as I said, we have budget limitations, we have interface hardware limitations, but you have to make your design in such a way that in future if you want to improve it, you can start from that point. You should not be it should not be like that you have to start designing something new from the beginning or from the scratch. Okay, so you have to keep scope for the future development or future improvements also. So summary for today's this thing, whatever we have studied till now in the last 3 lectures related to the topic, that it is important to have a good understanding of the problem space, right? Second thing, the fundamental aspect of interaction design is to develop the conceptual model. So basically we are studying, or we are doing this thing, interaction design is to develop a conceptual model and a proper conceptual model. Next point is interaction model and interface metaphor provide a structure for thinking about which kind of conceptual model we should use or develop. Okay, and the last point is interaction styles are specific kind of interface that are instant as part of the conceptual model. So this is very important, that the specific kind of interface are used or instantiated as part of the conceptual model. So obviously in conceptual model we have to use a specific type of interface for a specific type of product. So this is the summary overall what we have studied so far. Next we will study about cognition. what is cognition. And this we will see in our next class, because now we have just a few minutes left. So I'm not going to start this. So we will be doing it in the next lecture. Okay. Fine. So this is all for the day. I want all of you to please give your attendance in the chat box.